C, which immediately brings to mind cancer, equal to catastrophe. But it is my honor and privilege today to introduce to you someone who has given up her entire life to change this word from catastrophe to caring, compassion, and carefulness which comes from being aware. As a young girl, she would walk the streets of her town and be extremely pained every time she passed by somebody who was poor. At school, she excelled at almost every subject, whether it was academics or co-curricular. But something was driving her, a passion to give back to the community. So perhaps the choice of becoming a healer was a foregone conclusion. So she graduated from the Adyar Institute in clinical oncology, spent a short stint at Jigmer Pondicherry and then in Chennai, and then she came to Kuwait, where she currently works as medical oncologist at the Kuwait Cancer Control Center. She is very active in the Indian Doctors Forum and is always and ever ready to give her time, knowledge, experience, and even her soothing voice towards be it medical camps, any other social service, or spreading awareness through sessions like the one we are going to attend today. She is also very passionate about art, literature, and music. And I'm sure she will give us a sample of her melodious voice at the end of today's session. For all her hard work for the upliftment of the community in Kuwait and India, the Government of India has recognized her by bestowing on her the Bharatiya Pravasi Divas, She the Change, Nari Udyami Award for 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Sushobna Sujit Nair. Welcome, ma'am.
We are all actually heading towards cancer. It sounds very bad, but actually none of us are immune from cancer or against cancer. That means any one of us can be a patient someday of cancer, which none of us want to hear or want to think of, especially of our next generations, our children. Then, how can we prevent ourselves or how can we protect ourselves from such a dreaded disease? As Madhumita ji said, see, it brings the word cancer and catastrophe. But actually, being an oncologist, I would not take that word so seriously because if cancer means catastrophe or cancer means death, then we oncologists would not be studying for years together to bring about some changes in the treatment protocol. In present day, though the incidence of cancer is high or increasing every second, but actually speaking, death from cancer is going down the line. So we shouldn't be afraid of the term cancer because present day we have multimodality of investigations protocols to pick up the disease early, and also there are multiple treatment protocols by which we can prolong the longevity even with a patient having a stage 4 cancer. As an oncologist, what I felt that being such an audience, I should pick up something which we experience during our day-to-day life, seeing the patients. Because I don't think anything is left out related to cancer which all of you don't know. Most of us keep googling, keep browsing, almost everything in the Google. What's happening with this cancer, why that cancer, this, that, so many things we read. Many of you will be reading even more than I do in cancer as such. But as an oncologist, what I felt, just if I can take out this fear of cancer, thinking it as a catastrophic disease. The main motto of my talk this day will be how to get aware that even I can be a patient someday, then why not get diagnosed early? The fear of cancer is not the diagnosis as such. If the diagnosis is late, that is the fear. Because once the disease is diagnosed late, there is a chance of it recurring back, which we don't want. Any cancer per se, if it is being diagnosed early, God willing, we have a complete cure, a root cure. The problem occurs once it comes late. We all are not afraid of a death from heart attack. We are not afraid of a death from an accident. None of us know whether we are reaching back home this night. But we are not thinking of that. But once the term cancer comes, it takes off our thinking towards very bad scenario, which should not be actually. So, let our vision be a world without breast cancer. October month, all over the world, we celebrate as Pink Ribbon Day. And we say breast cancer awareness in a broad way, in a big way, grand way. Why? Because breast cancer is actually forming one of the biggest criminals of the society, killing a big bunch of female populations and gents as well. Many of you, if you don't know that breast cancer can be in males also, so today my lecture will clear that. 1 to 3% of breast cancer patients are males, so males too get male breast cancer. And our promise should be to save lives and end breast cancer forever by creating awareness. Though I took up the slides basically on breast, but I'll be touching almost all the cancers which we are facing. So just a simple question for anybody. Actually, what do we mean by cancer? Not an exam, just any
Uncontrolled growth of cells.
uncontrolled growth of cells. So any uncontrolled growth of cells is cancer. It's half correct. I'll just add to it. Even a pimple on your body, it's an abnormally growing cell. So those abnormally growing cells which have the potential to move through the membrane on which it is growing and thereby going to distant part of the body, that is actually cancer. Or in medical terms, we call it a malignant tumor. So basically, we have tumors in the beginning. In that, we have two types of tumors, benign and malignant. So, all tumors are not cancerous. Even a pimple is a tumor. A mole is a tumor. Even if I get a mosquito bite, that's a tumor. But it does not increase. It does increase in size, but it cannot invade the membrane, basement membrane on which the cells are growing. So, 25% of cancers are due to obesity, lack of physical activity and alcoholism. Why should we allow these notorious elements to cause a disease like cancer? We can prohibit ourselves from being affected by these. A small percentage due to hepatitis B, C, HPV. Actually, we know cancer is not contagious. It does not spread from one person to another. Then this line goes against it, right? It's like infection. So basically here, it's not the infection which is causing the cancer, hepatitis B, C or HPV, human papillomavirus. What happens actually? Any infection in the liver in medical terms is hepar. So inflammation or infection of the liver is called hepatitis. So generally liver infections are caused by viruses. Most common of them like A, B, C. So these are the hepatitis viruses. Many of us would have suffered from jaundice in our small age. And God willing, we all came out of it in 3 to 4 days time. But unfortunately, if any one of us had been hepatitis B, C, the problem is that time the virus affection goes off, the infection clears off. But those viruses, some of them remain back in the liver for a long period of time, thereby causing the cells to change into carcinogenic cells. They change the liver cells and form tumorous masses or cancerous masses. So that's why these infections, whenever somebody gets a jaundice, we should always check it up, what is the virus involved into it, so that we can take care from the very beginning. Because liver cancers will never be diagnosed in stage 1 or 2. Generally it will be diagnosed very late, where we will not have much good options to give to the patient. And human papillomavirus, this is again another virus which we generally find in the genital tract of people not living very healthy habits. There also the cause is same. This virus again remains in the cervical canal or in the penile shaft for a long time, thereby changing the cells into cancerous cells. So basically what I wanted to say, that hepatitis B, C and human papillomavirus, these viruses don't cause directly cancers, but if they have not been diagnosed properly and it was a heavy infiltration of cells into the body, then in due course of time, say 10 to 15 years, they can bring back a cancer in that particular infested area. Small percentage, okay, cancer may affect any parts of the human body. So generally you will find we are called oncologists. We are not called head oncology, GIT oncology, breast oncology. We are generally not called, because oncology means we are supposed to know from head to toe. So oncology as such means cancer from any part of the body. Okay, as I said, though incidence of cancer is rise, yet death due to cancer is drastically coming down. That is because of awareness. So nearly 60%. All these slides which I took, these are slides from our KCC statistical department, but these are continuously changing. So if I have taken it say 10 days back or 1 month back, today the statistics will be something different, because the cancer incidence, the rising incidence is constantly going high. Every year nearly 70 million new cases are detected, and it is expected that annual new cancer cases will rise from 17 million to 22 million in next 20 years, in another 2 decades time. So that means surely it is something which we are all exposed to, which is increasing the risk of cancer in our body. More than 60% in the underdeveloped countries. Okay, nearly 22% of cancer deaths are due to tobacco. Again, if I say the most notorious criminal in the society is this tobacco, why not throw it out from this society? 70 to 80% of cancers are detected late stage. This is the main thing which we don't want. We as oncologists, we would never like to see a patient coming in stage 4, because generally for that patient we don't have much good news to give. And not only that person, that full person's family gets affected. Cancer is such a disease where it doesn't remain limited to the person who is suffering. It's the full family and also the relative people to that person gets affected. Early detection of cancer helps in complete cure, as we know. Commonest, this is world statistics. Actually, lung cancer is commonest in males and breast cancer commonest in females. This is worldwide statistics, but in Kuwait, this statistics goes opposite way. In men, it becomes colorectal cancer, colon and rectum, the lower portion of the gastrointestinal tract. Why? Because of excessive smoking here, and also because of the food habits. Generally, people are more into barbecues. Any food, any non-veg material, when it is cooked under direct fire, that changes the amino acids present in the protein into carcinogenic elements. They are called tricyclic amines. Many of you, if you remember our chemistry books way back, we all study the chains. Every protein, when you break it down, it forms the smallest amino acids. The smallest particle is the amino acids. Now, like sugar, for carbohydrates, we have the glucose. Now, these amino acids, they have a particular chain. The C, the H, the O, the 3, everything. Now, when it is cooked under direct open fire, these amino acid chain changes and they become tricyclic amines which are carcinogenic. So please, whoever of you have a habit of preparing lot of barbecues, avoid it. Try to cook inside cooker in a closed container, not in direct fire. So this has been found statistically that this is the cause of making colorectal cancer the highest number of cancers being diagnosed in male population, all nationalities. It doesn't limit itself to Kuwaitis or non-Kuwaitis specifically. It's everybody who is a smoker, because KCC is the only cancer hospital in Kuwait. We still don't have any private hospital for oncology as such. So any patient diagnosed with a cancer, everybody has to come to the same hospital. So we find a big bunch of population where if you take the history, you will all go back to the same smoking history along with bad food habits. So these are some of the statistics that I picked up here. Same, see the breast cancer forms 11%. So it's really a big growth. This is worldwide. When I come down here in India actually you will find breast cancer is more common in the affluent societies. I'll again come down to the reasons why. Breast cancer is moving more towards the more advanced populations where the lifestyles are becoming bad actually. There's a line in our books, oncology books. It says, the more you are away from nature, the more you are closer to cancer. It sounds so bad. That means if I am keeping myself closer to nature, then I can protect myself from a cancer. Risk factors. Actually, if anyone of you ask me directly, what is the cause of cancer? It will be a very big question and very difficult question for me to answer. Because most of the cancers, we don't have a direct relationship or direct causal relationship we don't have. Except for smoking and lung cancer. Let's take it as a different slot. But otherwise, the other cancers as such, I cannot give a direct cause, like you had this, so you got the cancer. Say for example, breast cancer. If my patient asks me, doctor, why did I get the breast cancer? I really don't have a direct cause to give her that you did this, so you got. But we generally say there are risk factors which, if we are doing it for a long period of time, then we are making our cancer cells change to carcinogenic cells. Actually, what happens? The basic mechanism of cancer. Take for example our body. In our body, we have the main portion, the head, which controls the full body's mechanism or functioning. Similarly, our body is made up of cells. Each cell has something called nucleus, if you remember. Now each nucleus has the chromosomes, which has the DNA, which makes me like my father and makes my brothers like my mother. Why? These DNAs are controlling all the physiological activities and all the other changes that is occurring in my body in a controlled way. A child which is growing from this age group to an adult, surely the number of cells are becoming bigger. So, every cell has a doubling time. A cell becomes from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, there's a particular time. In cancer what happens? The DNA gets damaged, so this control is no more followed. The cancer cells the cells lose track of any particular rule. So they grow in a haphazard, uncontrolled way. This actually is the basic mechanism of cancerogenesis. So, what happens? A cell which was supposed to double after 20 minutes may be doubling after 2 seconds. So, just think of the logarithmic rise in the number of cells. It will like proliferate in a big way. And again, it explains again that generally you will think of a cancer patient very thin, cachectic, bad looking, sick looking. Why? These cancer cells, when they are growing in a big way, they actually have the capacity to pull all the blood circulation towards it. So, blood is the fluid which is taking all our food to different parts of the body. So, if all this is going to the tumor growth, then the full body gets deficient of the food. So the body starts becoming lean and thin, but the tumor grows and grows and grows. So these are the basic mechanisms that is happening in cancer cell. So, risk factors. What are these risk factors? These risk factors means some bad habits or some exposures that we are exposed to, the environmental or smoking, passive smoking, lot of things which I'll come down to. These factors, if I am exposed to for a long period of time, my DNA can get damaged, and once the DNA gets damaged, my body becomes prone to develop a carcinogenic process. In Kuwait, if you see, smoking is quite high. This is the risk factor for development of cancer in smokers. Blue lines are for females, red lines are for males. If people at the back can see, you will feel little awkward that how come males have 3.5% of risk of developing cancer, but females are 35% who are non-smokers. Generally they are passive. Actually it is said, passive smokers means if somebody in my family is smoking and I inhale all the exhaled air from that person, then I am a passive smoker, which actually all of us are doing in the Gulf countries, where alcoholism is less, smoking is at a high rate, and it is going higher in almost every country now. So, it is said that people who are non-smokers, they are affected more because the smokes the toxins which are present in the cigarette, when that mixes up with the carbon dioxide of the lungs of the person who is smoking, their carcinogenicity becomes more, they become more toxic. So, passive smokers are more affected, especially the small children, because their cells are very small, benign cells, and their DNA have a very low threshold of injury. If, say for example, my DNA needs 10 kilos to get hit, a small baby's cell may get hurt by even 2 grams. So that means just imagine the level of bad effect that the child can get from the father who is a heavy smoker. There are some studies, though they have not come up into books. There was an incident, a small baby born to a healthy mother, and the baby was not growing well. The milestones were not growing well. So they checked up multiple things what is wrong. Then finally they found that the baby was actually suffering from a sort of blood cancer, leukemia. Now they started thinking of what could be the cause, because there was no family and history, nothing. They found that maybe father's heavy smoking was the cause for bringing this leukemia in the child, because he is smoking heavily even during the pregnancy period of his wife. And when she is growing the womb, the baby in the womb, all these cells are rapidly growing cells. So the DNA is very vulnerable to injury. Even a small hit can damage the DNA. So that child came out with a disease like leukemia, and that could be because of the father's smoking. It is so scary. It is so, I don't know what to say. Then why do we do such things? Similarly, though alcoholism, we all know that in Kuwait, many of our people do have the usage of this, but still it is not open, so it shows the 0 level. Okay, physical inactivity. This is another culprit. None of us want to walk. None of us want to go to a little far distance to park the car. We will block the road, we will park the car so that I don't have to walk across. We all are actually developing this attitude, which we should not. Let us be physically active. Let us not become bedridden patients during our terminal times. Starting from head to toe, anywhere smoking has its bad effects. Starting from a stroke in the brain, stroke in the heart, which we call heart attack, or a pulmonary embolism in the lungs, stomach cancer, liver cancers, bladder cancer, I don't know what all to say, everything can be from smoking. So then why do we have to buy such things with money and bring the disease to me as well as my surroundings? Aortic rupture, chronic disease, blindness, gum infection, lung, leukemia, stomach, pancreatic problems, coronary problems, bladder cancers, these are all chronic lung disease, all from smoking. each cigarette, it looks so small, is said to contain minimum 50, some books say 60 also, carcinogenic elements. Just now I said what is carcinogenic element? Anything that can damage the DNA. So each cigarette has minimum 50 carcinogenic elements. Out of them, these are the most notorious ones. Those who are chemical engineers here, you all will be knowing all this polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or benzopyrene, acrolein, nitrosamines. These are all compounds used in bad things, fertilizers and rocket fuel here and there. All those means in a different way. These things are present in the cigarette smoke. Are we really supposed to take it into our such nice body which we have got it from Subhanallah, from good God? We are not supposed to damage this body with all these dirty creations of human. Let's defeat the evil. Again here, these are the percentages which smoking can cause cancer, the percentage of cancers that can be caused in these organs. Actually again here, this is an old statistics, lung cancer 78%, but it's not like that. Present states, it says up to 90% of lung cancers are because of smoking. Each cigarette, again, it is said to reduce our longevity by 11 minutes. So just count, if a person is a heavy smoker, say 1 packet or 2 packets per day, how many minutes of his precious life? It's a precious life. Let us live it in a proper way, healthy way. So he is reducing 11 minutes from each cigarette. It is said that smokers are 3 times more likely to die at an early age. Not only because of cancer, heart attack, brain stroke, lung stroke, pulmonary embolism, so many other bad diseases that can occur overnight and take the person with him. Alcohol actually, it damages the liver. Liver is the main detoxifier in the body. Whatever toxins we are taking all throughout the day, liver is the one which detoxifies all the toxins from our body so that they don't remain back in the body, thereby causing bad effects in due course of time. Now, if I damage my liver, then who will detoxify? So, indirectly what am I doing? I am encouraging all the toxins to show their negative effect in my body by drinking alcohol and thereby damaging my liver. So, it is said a person who smokes along with alcoholism, he increases the risk of cancer in his body compared to a normal person who is not addicted to these two notorious elements by 50%, which is very high. Why should I make my body affected by such things? A few points on the endometrial cancer. Endometrium is actually the inner lining of the uterus. This is a disease related to ladies, basically in postmenopausal, those who have stopped menstruating, though its the percentage is less, 1 to 2%, basically in postmenopausal ladies, and there are actually no direct risk factors, but some risk factors which are like women with increased levels of natural estrogen who have never gotten pregnant. Again, this also indirectly says the first point. A lady who has never got a pregnancy, her hormonal level will be always high. I'll come to that point in a clearer way later on. Ladies who have undergone human replacement therapy or who are overweight. Again, overweight can be a cause for cancer. This sounds so bad, right? Then why should I keep myself overweight? It is under my control. If I don't want to become obese, I can keep myself slim. I can keep a control on my weight gain. Family history as such, there is always a predisposition. Symptoms, abnormal uterine bleeding, pain during intercourse, difficult or painful urination. Actually, it's not only endometrial cancer as such, whichever cancer of the body, generally the symptoms will be related to any other disease of that particular organ. Say for example, I say lung cancer. Lung cancer, the person will come to us with cough. The problem is, when the person gets cough, will never reach the oncologist first. They will never come to the cancer hospital first. Nobody wants to think of cancer also. They will go multiple hospitals. hospitals, everybody will think it's some sort of infection going on, throat infection, this influenza, this, that, so many things. During that time, if it was unfortunately a cancerous mass that was causing the cough, it keeps on growing. And the person reaches us once he sees some spot of blood in the sputum, because blood always takes us into a scary world. So, what I wanted to say, that any cancer of any part of the body, generally symptoms will be related to any other usual causes or usual diseases of that particular organ. Say stomach cancer. So stomach cancer means I have problem of loss of appetite, pain abdomen. So these are the symptoms which we think of any other disease also. Yesterday night I ate something wrong, maybe I didn't get a proper digestion I got. But we should not leave it like that. If that symptom is not getting off over a particular period of time, please have a checkup. Get it checked. Don't think that I don't want to get diagnosed with a cancer. But God willing, if you are getting diagnosed early, rest of your life is destined for you. You are going to live that rest of your life that has been given to you. Cancer will not be the cause of your death. Ovarian cancers in ladies. Ovarian cancers, though the incidence is less. Here, what you see, fifth most common, 1 in 70 women. Means, if 5 women, 70 ladies I take, here I don't think we have 70 ladies, or maybe together, out of 70 ladies who don't have any familial history of ovarian cancer, if they live till 70 to 80 years of age, one of them will have a ovarian cancer. So this is a small percentage. In case of breast, it becomes 1 in every 8 ladies. So we are many here, many of us may not be having any familial history. But if 8 ladies are living till 70 all of us want to live. Actually none of us want to die, isn't it? But 70 to 80 years of life, all of us think we will be living. So among these 8 ladies, 1 will be diagnosed with a cancer, even if they don't have any familial predisposition. So that is the incidence of breast cancer. So risk factors again include advancing age, because as such cancer means it is disease of aging. Because cancer will never come overnight. Whatever factor is growing in my body, causing DNA damage, it has to take a long period of time. It's not like a heart attack. All of a sudden a block in the heart, morning I'm not there. It's not like that. With cancer, nobody will die overnight. It makes the quality of life bad, but surely it doesn't cause a sudden death. So these are the screening tests for ovarian cancer. For every cancer, actually most of the cancers, we have blood tests. We test the blood and we look for some tumor markers. For ovary, we have called CA-125. So these are blood tests which we keep track of to see whether something growing in the ovary. So like that we have for many cancers, like for gents we have PSA for prostate cancer, breast prostate specific antigen. So every gentleman who is above 50, it's always better to have a check of their blood for PSA, which if it is rising, then it shows something is growing with the prostate. And maybe it is a prostatic benign hypertrophy, or if it crosses a particular level, then we can think on the line of cancer as well. Now, these are actually not causes, we should say, these are risk factors. If we are exposed to such factors over a long period of time, then we may be changing our body cells into carcinogenic cells, like high intake of animal fat, reduced please. This not only increases the risk of cancer, but also your cholesterol level. And again, cholesterol level high means multiple diseases related to the heart. Grilled food, as I said, any protein content, when you are cooking it under direct fire, you are changing it into carcinogenic elements. Intake of charred and burnt food, please avoid. Air pollution, we all know, air is polluted with multiple carcinogenic elements, so we have to avoid that. Prolonged exposure to radiations. I got a cough, I went to the physicians, immediately do an X-ray. Avoid X-rays as far as possible. I'm not blaming my colleagues, my physician colleagues. Many a times we do need X-ray to check if something I'm not able to make up with my stethoscope. I doubt something else, but I'm not getting a clear picture. We do X-rays. But especially for small children, avoid radiation exposure because X-rays are very, very, very toxic because they can damage your DNA directly. There are many cases during my study time also, 2002, 2003, the Cancer Institute, Adyar, Chennai. Many ladies who were diagnosed with breast cancer, breast cancer by the age of say 40, 45, we got the history that when they were small, 8 years, 9 years, they had lung TB, tuberculosis. And for tuberculosis, always we look for an X-ray to check how is the lung now. Is the lung better? Is she improving? So these multiple X-rays, they damage the breast cells. And what happens when the small girl is growing during her menarche, when her hormonal level is going up, her breasts are forming. That time the development of the breast cells are at a very fast rate. Her breast size is increasing. That time, if you can damage the DNA, you are hitting the DNA and causing them into carcinogenic process. So these ladies, another 10 to 15 years, come out with breast cancer. So we call those as doctor's given cancers. So whenever you are asked for a X-ray, please you have the full rights because you are going to take the radiations to your body. You have the full rights to ask your doctor, do you really need it? Or can you check with the step? Or I'll take the antibiotic and see if I am improving. Avoid X-rays as far as possible. Not only to the chest, also to the gums or the teeth. OPG X-ray, many of us who have dental problems, we go take an X-ray. But we never think these X-rays are not only going to the teeth, it's damaging your gums, it's going to your cheek, it's going to your tongue, it's going to the hypopharynx. There is an area in this portion. If I take a transverse section, it's like inside this portion. So all these radiations, we will be taking it unknowingly, but maybe another 10 to 15 years, they will show their bad effects on our body. So avoid radiation exposure as far as possible. As I said, the chronic persistence of hepatitis B and C that cause the cancerous processes. So this is the reputation. Early detection. So the basic motto of any awareness program is not to take the fear that I can be a patient, but let me get diagnosed today so that even if I have a cancer, I have a complete cure and it will never come back. What is the problem? Why cancer comes back? We say if a cancer is developing in a body, now those cells, 1 cell to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, these cells, it needs a collection of 10 to the power of 9 cells, means 1 and 9 zeros. I don't know, the small children may say, you need 10, 100,000, 10,000 crore, 10 crores, 100 crores. So, yeah, so 9 zeros, that many number of cells, if you club them up together, they form a tumor mass of 1 centimeter cube. Now, even in the present day, the best modality of investigation, we have the PET scans. They can pick up tumors which are up to 5 or 6 millimeters. Below that, generally they say maybe. It doesn't say with guarantee it is. So, there are full chances I may miss out a lump which was 3 millimeters. Now, if 1 centimeter cube means 10 to the power of 9 cells, so a millimeter cube means I'll divide by another 100 into 100 into 100. So, 6 zeros will be cut. So, 3 zeros are still up. So, there can still be a lump which comprises of 1000 cells which will not be picked up by our investigation modalities till late. So, when we get a patient, we say, as per your PET scans, cancer has not spread. But I cannot give a guarantee because I cannot see all the cells in her body or his body, whether all the cells are clear or no. So, Our language, we protect ourselves legally also, that as per radiology investigations, as per nuclear medical investigations, there is no cancer anywhere else, it's only in the breast. But I cannot say with guarantee. Now, whatever tumor we are getting, say 3 centimeter tumor in the breast. Now this tumor, the time duration in which she got the lump or he got the lump, this time is not one day, it's over some years. So what happens? Those years, some cells might have gone somewhere else in the body by the bloodstream or the lymphatic stream. Now, when we give chemotherapy or whichever treatment we are giving, do I have any guarantee that I killed all the cells? No. Because I am not able to see inside the body whether my chemotherapy is reaching each and every cancer cell to kill it. So, if by chance some cells were not killed, they again grow up. Because chemotherapy we don't keep on giving. There is a limitation. We give for 6 months, we give for 9 months. There is a protocol for every particular stage and diagnosis as such. So, those cells again will grow up, and after a few years, she or he comes back with a lung metastasis, a liver metastasis. Means my treatment, say 10 years back, did not kill all the cells because some cells had gone somewhere else. But if that same lady was diagnosed with a cancer, say a small tumor, less than 1 centimeter, 5 millimeters tumor in the breast, we biopsy it and we find it is cancer, then surely the risk of these cells to have gone to somewhere else is low. So, she or he will not have the fear of getting a recurrence. So, once the recurrence is not coming, that person is free from fear of death from cancer. This is the main motto that I would like to spread, that let us get diagnosed early. Once diagnosed early, you are free from the fear of death from cancer. These are some of the warning signs for in general, like any change in bowel or bladder habits. I have a normal day-to-day life. All of a sudden I find that I am getting lot of loose stools. Again, after loose stools I get constipated. So it's not like, it's not going along with my diurnal cycle. Have a checkup. Maybe something is growing up in the alimentary tract. Persistent hoarseness of voice. All of us get a sore throat, a hoarse voice during the weather change. But it has a limit. Within a week, 10 days, it should go off. But if it is prolonging, have a checkup. Maybe it is not simple sore throat. Have a checkup. Feeling of a lump in the throat. Sometimes, especially it goes with the smokers, they feel there is something in the throat, not able to swallow well. They feel pain in swallowing, degradation pain, which we call dysphagia. A frequent indigestion, persistent white or red patches in the mouth, which usually we find in smokers again. Many of us, though not into it, but you can say that in the poverty line, they get ulcers in the mouth, which we call aphthous ulcers, which is common. Vitamin deficiency, any one of us can get aphthous ulcers. Now, if it's in a smoker, generally aphthous ulcers in a smoker we always take seriously, because it may be a pre-malignant condition which is coming up as a leukoplakia or erythroplakia. White patches we call leukoplakia and the red ones erythroplakia. Those are pre-cancerous. If I leave them, they will develop into cancerous mass. Chronic nagging cough, chest pain, unusual bleeding or discharge. Actually, many of us think when I screen ladies, as Madhurika just said, the award that was given to me, that was basically I have picked up in the camps many ladies by my hand examination early breast cancer, which we call stage 0. Means where the cancer has full chances that it will never come back. There is no risk for the cancer to come back. Because of that, actually, that award was awarded to me. So, what happens is, many of us think that if I have pain in my body, something causing pain, I should reach the doctor. So, what I find during my screening sessions when I examine the ladies, they say, Vedna illallo, ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಪಣ್ಣು ವಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. This is the problem. She has a lump. She is seeing there is a lump in the breast, but she has not reached the doctor because pain illa. So this shows that our work is not complete. We as oncologists have to come out and say painless lumps are 90% of times growing painless lumps are cancerous unless otherwise diagnosed something different. So anybody in your known family or known to you with an ulcer, with a tumor, with a growing mass, without pain, please send them to KCC, have a checkup, or send them to somebody who can take a biopsy and see what is going on. Painless lumps generally are not cancerous because pain in cancer is always in a late stage. Okay, one more point was here. Obvious change in what on mole. Generally these moles, kuru, these are generally benign, but there are some moles which can change into cancerous, which we call melanoma, a type of skin cancer. So please have a check on your body. All of us know where all we have the moles, the black and the red moles. So keep a check in between whether anyone is growing, changing its color, changing its texture or the outline. Have a checkup. Bleeding out ventricles. These are all again called the same. Blood in stool, bloating stomach. All these are signs which any one of us or any one of our known people getting, please refer them for a proper checkup. Now, breast cancer in males and females. This is the female breast. Here you will find in the structure, the fatty tissue, this is the cross section. So, the lobes, ducts are the tubes which are bringing the milk from the lobes to the nipple. Now, if I take the male breast, here you will find all the things are same. Fatty tissue, areola, nipple, ducts, everything is there. Only thing, male breasts don't have the lobe. This is the lobe because male breast is not meant for milk formation. So that is the only thing which is different. Otherwise, male and female breasts are the same. And the other thing is the fat content. Female breasts are fat, more of fat concentration than male breast. So otherwise all the things are same. So a cancer in male breast also are of the same types except for lobular cancer. There is a type of cancer in breast we find which we call lobular, developing from the lobes, which is not found in males. Otherwise all the cancers are same. So basically we have 4 types of breast cancers. These are namely those developing from the tubes, the ducts, those developing from the lobes. There is another type of cancer in which the full breast becomes like inflamed, reddish, where you don't find one particular lump, but the full breast is involved. That's called inflammatory breast cancer. And for screening as such, we explain more on the Paget's disease, the Paget's disease of the nipple. We have all heard of eczema, right? Eczema is a skin allergic disease in which the skin starts becoming rough and it comes out. If you scratch, the skin comes out like scaly flakes. In the breast, around the nipple, something like that occurs. So generally the lady will think of an eczema and she'll keep using some sort of emoluments, creams, oily based creams and everything. But if it is not healing, please have a checkup. That is another type of cancer in which it starts like a scaly lesion around the nipple, but deep inside there is a mass growing. That is called Paget's disease of nipple, named by the person who had discovered it. So as per staging, basically for all cancers as such, we have 5 stages. 0 to 4. There is no stage 5 in cancer. Total stage 5 means stage 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I say anybody has to get a cancer, please God give stage 0. Because stage 0 generally will not come back. That means it is very early. There are no chances that the cancer cells have gone anywhere else. So that person will have a normal longevity. Other than other diseases, from cancer there is no risk of getting it back. Stage 1, 2, 3, these are based on the size. I'm writing it on breast, but it's for other cancers also. It's based on the size of the tumor or if it has gone into the lymph nodes where the cancer spreads. Stage cancer goes from its primary site to somewhere else, it is stage 4. If the cancer has gone to the brain, that is also stage 4. If it has gone to skin, that is also stage 4. So, stage 4 does not mean last days. It's the last stage. Means we don't have stage 5. But stage 4 does not mean the person is going to die tomorrow. We have breast cancer patients with brain metastasis living more than 7 or 8 years. So, it's not to be taken so scary that stage 4 means bas khalas. No, it's not like that. Mode of development, which I already explained, is like the damage to the DNA and the cells start growing up with the food of the body. Now, this is a important slide for breast cancer. For ladies here, see, all of us are ladies, so surely for us the risk is surely higher than males, because breast cancer, ovarian cancer and uterine cancer, these are hormonal based cancers or hormonally driven cancers. Means if the hormone in my body, which hormone? My sexual hormone, for ladies the estrogen and for males the testosterone. If estrogen is high in my body because of any cause, then I increase the risk of getting ovarian cancer, uterine cancer or a breast cancer. Now, I'll come to the causes how. See, the causes which will increase the risk of developing the cancer can be modifiable or non-modifiable. I'm a lady, so I cannot change this, right? So this is a non-modifiable feature. But we are more concerned with modifiable risk factors which are in my control, which I can reduce exposure to. Like, see, these are the modifiable risk factors. Radiation exposure, we can all reduce. If any one of you are nurses here, a study was conducted in Japan few years back. Why? Because they found recently more number of young ladies are coming up with breast cancer. So surely it is scary. We always think of cancer in elderly people. 60 years cancer ಆಯ್ತು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗು. But if the lady is 25, we have in the ward we have some patients 23, 22 with a breast cancer, pathetic. Now, what is this? This shows that there are some factors which are growing in the body and causing these cells carcinogenic. This study in Japan, what they found that many nursing candidates, nursing staffs, they were found with cancer. So what was the cause? They felt that, take for example a nursing lady. Nurse generally we think of small age, right? Not like doctors generally we are in the over age groups. But nurses say from 19-20 years of age to 40-45. This is the highly active sexual age group. So generally this young lady may be using some sort of contraceptive pill. These contraceptive pills generally are estrogen and progesterone pills. They are hormonal pills. Though because of this risk, now the new contraceptive medicines are having very low content of estrogen. So these pills are again increasing the estrogen in the body. She is already young, so her ovaries are already highly active, producing estrogen. This estrogen surges the day for we ladies when we have periods. When we are finishing the periods, we have a day when we feel very hot. Hot flashes, we start sweating, we feel feverish. This is the day of this ovulation when the estrogen level goes very high. Now, say for example, a lady who is never pregnant. So every cycle she is menstruating. So every cycle her estrogen is going high. So this nursing lady, she is a young lady with strong ovarian function, maybe on some contraception. Another factor that is with this radiation exposure, we have an organ in the brain called pituitary gland. From the pituitary gland, we have multiple hormones that those are being released. One of them is melatonin. Melatonin, one of the best hormones that we have in our body. It is a hormone which gives us sleep. If melatonin level is high in the night and feel good sleepy. Melatonin also gives me happiness, it induces happiness. If my melatonin level is low, I don't feel happiness in anything. Another point is, this melatonin, it actually, in the light phase, it increases the production of estrogen. In the dark phase, it reduces the production of estrogen. I'll explain more. I'm a staff nurse. Say for example, I am for night duty. I have to go to hospital at 7 o'clock. So morning, I am working at home. So full daylight. So these light radiations are going from my eyes to the brain. Brain is getting induced. It is saying to the ovaries, produce estrogen. Okay. Afternoon when I take rest, I sleep for 3-4 hours. I might have switched on the lights, but there is daylight, right? It is not pitched out. So eyes or brain, they don't know this is artificial light or natural light. Light is light. Again, in the afternoon, again she is producing estrogen. In the night, she goes for night duty, full night, bright light. Full night exposure to light, full night production of estrogen. So, 24 hours she is producing estrogen. Now, this shows that these nursing people or ladies who are working in the nights, generally if they are working in bright light and during the daytime also they have been exposed to light, they are producing too much of estrogen in their body. And this large amount of estrogen in the body, they are actually bringing about carcinogenic processes in the breast cells. So that was found to be one of the causes in young ladies working late nights, call center ladies, doctors, nurses, so many other people who are working in the nights. They have this risk of developing a carcinogenic process because of this light exposure. So we have to reduce. Whenever we are sleeping, please see that your room is really pitch dark, or at least put a eye cover so that you don't get the direct light stimulations. Obesity, postmenopausal obesity is one of the biggest risk factors for breast cancer. Why? Because if I am badly obese after menopause, till menstrual cycle is going on, my ovaries are producing estrogen. When I am menopause, my ovaries are no more producing estrogen. But if I am badly obese, all the extra fat in my body, they can get converted to estrogen. So we call postmenopausal obesity is like extra endocrinal side of production of hormones. So if a lady is obese, she is again increasing the risk of becoming like highly estrogen dependent, estrogen containing body. So these are all the factors which are modifiable. Radiation exposure, obesity, light exposure at night, pregnancies and breastfeeding. This is one of the good points. A lady who is pregnant, generally she will not have periods for those 9 months. Again, when she is lactating, she will again have natural contraception for another 3 to 4 months. So all these 13 to 14 months of her this pregnancy and the delivery period, she will not be having periods. So thereby the estrogen level will be low in her body. So pregnancy and breastfeeding actually, these are protective mechanisms. Alcoholism, sedentary lifestyle. Because sedentary lifestyle again keeps all the toxins in the body. It is said cancer cells can't grow in oxygenated area. So this sounds so good, right? That means if I keep myself with the fresh air, oxygenated air, then I cannot allow the cancer cells to grow in my body. Why not do that? Now, I'll go to the symptoms. See, basically, for not only breast cancer, for any cancer as such, what do we have to do? We have to have an examination. Somebody comes to me, I'll examine her, and then I'll say whether something is wrong or no. If I suspect, what I'll do, I'll ask for a mammogram or an ultrasound as per the age of the patient. Then, any cancer, we cannot start treatment unless we have a tissue diagnosis, that is a biopsy. Then the treatment as such, it's a local treatment, surgery or radiation, or a systemic treatment, full body, that is chemotherapy or hormonal therapy or biological. Now we have these targeted elements. So these are which are going to all parts of the body. So this is not for breast as such, for any cancer as such. Many a times it gets missed out because male breasts are small, it just looks like a small nipple. Nobody examines also. But if you examine yourself, just look for any changes, any small pimply lesion which was not there before and you found. Have a checkup. Breast pain, nipple pain, inverted nipple, redness, scaliness, as I said, Pill's disease, thickening or puckering. Generally, the diagnosis stage will be very low. So again, going back to the same, that early diagnosis, better cure or complete cure and less chances of recurrence. Now, this is basically cancer cannot be prevented, but screening can diagnose early stage disease which is curable. Screening can be through mammograms, clinical examination. By examination, chemo prevention. Some ladies, all of you might have heard of Angelina Jolie, Hollywood actress. She had undergone both the breast surgeries. She removed both the breasts and got reconstruction done. Why? Because she had a disease in her family. There is a disease called BRCA mutation. There are some genetic diseases which runs in the family. So she had the risk of developing a breast cancer over 5 years of time. So she removed the breast so that that risk is low. But we don't ask for mastectomy. All ladies, we can't ask for mastectomy. This is for ladies where there is a familial risk factor. Actually speaking, the risk of a disease or breast cancer from a familial history is very low, hardly 4 to 6%. Means, if I see 100 ladies of cancer patient, breast cancer, hardly 4 or 6 of them will have a familial history. So that means 94 to 96% of them don't have a family history. So that means they are all exposed to these risk factors throughout their life to develop this carcinogenic process. So let us be aware and spread the word. Now, in cancer as such, we don't have a magical cure. God willing, someday we should have. That any cancer patient, we say something and the cancer goes off. Or there is one medicine for all cancers, it takes off. Inshallah, it should happen someday. In this world, if there is something magical cure, it is physical fitness. It is the best way that we can keep ourselves free from cancer or reduce the risk of cancer, and also for those who are already suffering from cancer to have the treatment in the best way. When we give chemotherapy to our patients, we tell them please go back to the gardens, walk, do a jogging, go for a brisk walk, because when the chemotherapy is moving in the blood, it needs oxygen, it needs water for the proper cell kill. So, physical fitness and physical activity not only protects the person from risk of developing the cancer, but also it helps in the proper activity of the cancer treatment to show its best effects. If you see here, these are showing the percentages, showing the figure at the background. See, these are the percentages which studies have shown. These are the reducing percentages because of inactive activity. Means if a person is physically active, they reduce the risk of esophageal cancer by 42%, liver cancer by 27%, everything if you find here, all different cancers by physical activity, you are reducing the risk of those cancers. So, physically fit children will always grow into physically active adults. So, let us at least whatever we have got exposed to our bodies, let us not get the same thing for our kids. Let our kids' life at least be more natural and more free from the bad effects of the society. Research has shown that physically active children become physically active adults. Physical activity helps you live longer because most of the diseases, if you see, the lifestyle diseases are again from physical inactivity. You say for diabetes mellitus, you say of heart attacks, you say for hypercholesterolemia. All these things are again somehow or the other related to sedentary lifestyles. We are all actually taking a lot of calories in our body, which is not required. We always eat more than requirement for the body. Those are actually getting deposited in the body, and as per Newton's third leave something bad effects on your body. Let us read that. Physical activity improves quality of your sleep. Once you sleep well, we all need to sleep. Sleeping is a very good thing actually in our lives. We should all sleep in a very good way. I don't have so much of time to talk so much, but actually sleep, it also detoxifies many things from the body. A person who keeps watching a mobile or a tablet for a long time, late in the night, is again reducing the melatonin secretion from the brain, which I was talking some time back. Now this person is making himself or herself sleepless. Once you are sleepless, your digestion doesn't go well. Digestion doesn't go well means next morning you don't have a proper bowel movement. You are constipated. Constipated again means all those toxins from your stool matter remains collected in your body and they start getting absorbed into the body. That in chronic way again leaves their bad effects for the body. So it all goes like a vicious cycle. Physical fitness, it reduces stress, anxiety, depression. Most of us are suffering in this world from these, isn't it? All of us are having some stress or the other. I'm stressed now, tomorrow is Sunday, lot of activities. Full day you are busy. So none of us are free from these catastrophic things. Stress, anxiety, depression. We all don't know what is my destiny. We all are just working for something, but we never feel what is the limit. Where should I stop? So we have to bring about a sort of satisfaction in our lives. We have to feel happiness with whatever we get, because there is no limit to human thinking or no limit to human achievements. Once you reach a level, you find somebody else higher than you. Again you start fighting for something else. But this will never end. All this basically can increase your stress level and depression as such. Diet. Surely, let us all be with lot of fruits, vegetables, include a bulk of fiber in your diet, avoid trans fat, cut down sugar and refined carbs, carbohydrates, limit soft drinks, limit white bread, pasta, pizza, include unrefined whole grains, multigrains. Healthy diet, try to avoid processed and red meat. Many different studies have established the link between risk of cancer and eating processed meat. So, let us, people who are taking non-veg, please don't make it a regular habit. See, don't take these things as scary. It's not like if I eat beef today, tomorrow I'll have a cancer. Never. Because cancer never comes overnight. And these foods are all from, in this society, in this world, we are all with all these foods. But whenever we know the bad effects of it, our body has a capacity to rectify the bad effects for a particular level. Don't make it a continuous habit so that the body's capacity loses and then we are prone to develop diseases. Do not cook oils on very high temperature. Go easy on barbecue. Be careful what you put in the microwave. Avoid putting plastics, that we all know. Actually, microwave radiations are not called cancers. The thing is in which you are preparing. There are some myths, some people say from microwave cancers can come. No. Microwave radiations are not ionizing radiations. Actually, as I said, damage to the DNA. Damage to the DNA is always caused by ionizing radiations, like X-rays. X-rays can directly go and hit the DNA, damage it, and thereby causing uncontrolled growth of the cells. But microwaves, these are not ionizing, so they don't cause carcinogenic effects in the food matter. But basically, if it is a plastic container, once these radiations are crossing through the plastic container, these plastic content may release some carcinogenic elements into the food. So, avoid using plastic containers inside the microwave. Breast self-examination. I should say this for ladies here. We should all have, basically, I'll just show some slides how we should examine ourselves, which date we should examine, so that we can get picked up early. The thing is, 7th day or 10th day from your periods when you will have a self-examination. First, you have to see yourself to see the breast sizes, how are they located, whether both are in the same position, one is up, one is down, how do the nipples look, how are they areola, so that you know how does your two breasts look. Now, second, this is the position when I put my hands here and bend forward, my breast hangs down. Because breast is like an extra tissue stuck to the chest wall. So any lump becomes more obvious. In this position again, when I put my hands in the back of the head and push my chest, my rib cage makes the breast flatten so that any small lump becomes more obvious. All these things the cartoon showed, they showed all these are by seeing. So far she has not touched her breast. Now she touches. So while examining, it's not like softly you will palpate your breast. You go circularly or you go radially from outside to inner or circularly. Now when you are palpating, your palpation should be really hard. Go up to the chest wall, up to the ribs. So that find out if you feel it's the same feeling everywhere. If not, please have a check. Every time don't think you will see a lump, a big lump. No. It may be just a hardness, like a density, a thickening, the skin looks thickened. Have a check. Maybe, God willing, you are lucky to be diagnosed early. Now press the nipple and see whether there is any discharge. If anyhow it is a bloody discharge, please have an urgent checkup. Now in lying down position, if you put a towel or something under the wing bone, and then your breast flattens and you can examine it in a much better way. Same time, examine the underarm also. Right hand for the left breast and the underarm, left hand for the right breast and the underarm. This goes for males also. So mark your calendar to remind yourself to do a breast examination regularly. Good way to prevent worry if you find a normal cyclic change. Please don't do it during the periods because during the periods hormonal changes are there which may look something is going on bad. And also please don't examine like this. Don't hold the breast like this. Then everywhere you will find a lump. So the examination is always with the palm of the fingers. Stay relaxed because tension contracts your muscles and you feel there is a lump everywhere. Report any changes or unusual pain. Remember to have an annual clinical exam. Though you may be examining yourself every month, but there can be chances that you may miss out some small findings. So, at least once in a year, see a doctor. Seek medical attention whenever there is some doubt. Breast cancer is curable. Thank you.